Welcome in, everybody, and welcome to our YouTube channel for Thursday, January 7th, 2016. My name is Charlie Castro. I'll be your host, and I thank you for being on with me today. Our agenda today is, as usual, we're going to be covering some new inventory that we received this past week. We'll be talking about some REOs, some discounted NPN'S and whatnot. We've got a number of new lists available that we'll share with you in just a second. If you have a pen and a paper, if you've not been on one of our podcasts as of yet, you'll know that we will show you some lists, some available properties, and there'll be a number associated with that list. And what you'll need to do is write that number down. If you have an interest in that particular group of properties, you want to reference that particular number and then contact us. As many of you know, we are no longer giving out our lists in any sort of a mass marketing type of campaign. And so if you want to acquire a list to look at, you will need to contact us. We do have some new REOs available today. Most of you know that we do have a list that we market every month. It is an REO list. It's nationwide. It's in just about every state in the country. This month it grew to 1,800. We sold several hundred off that last month, and they purchased another several. I guess probably another 300 or 400 is new on this list. So the list of REOs for January is quite large. We'll be showing that to you. We have a turnkey portfolio in Birmingham, Alabama that's got owner financing, very unique, so we're going to be sharing that with you. We've also got a couple of new Michigan lists too we're going to be sharing with you as well. I've been asked this a lot recently, and people have contacted me and said, just how do you guys acquire your inventory? What do you guys do to get access to new packages on a weekly basis? I just want to cover that real quick. I think probably where we get most of this inventory from is from private sellers, just people that build portfolios. Philip Folks and myself, if you're on our mailing list, you know that Phil and I have been marketing together for about 3 years. Phil and I met while he was working for a hedge fund, and I was providing those hedge funds with inventory. And so Phil and I got to know each other. We had a lot of contacts in the institutional buying world. We knew a lot of people that were, folks that, bought inventory in bulk back in the day when hedge funds were buying up property like crazy. So a lot of our contacts just came from the private people, private sellers across the country. So, for example, let's say you're looking to buy some property in Kansas City. You don't see that on our list. You can always contact us and say, hey, Charlie, who do you know down in Kansas City? Or does Phil know anybody down in Kansas City? So even if you don't see something on our YouTube channel that's in your particular market or your particular buying criteria, just contact us and let us know what you're looking for. We have contacts really all over the country. We do have some bank contacts. That's Phil more than it would probably be me. But we do have some bank contacts that we do get lists from time to time. Wholesalers, those are folks that pick stuff up from people who, maybe bought a property, rehabbed it, and they pick it up, put it under contract, and then they'll provide that property to us. We probably get less from wholesalers than anybody else, but we do have some of those. We do have some wholesalers that we do work with. Lots of small funds. We get stuff from small funds pretty much every week. Those are smaller groups that I wouldn't call them hedge funds, but they're not wholesalers or private sellers really either. They're somewhere in the middle of that. They're smaller investment groups that have portfolios of properties, and they do make those available to us. We have a number of companies that I didn't even put this on the slide, but we have a number of companies that we work with who are brokerage houses who give us property. We had a property or a list of NPN'S last week in New York and in New Jersey and Florida that came to us from an institutional seller. They got the list from a bank. They were contracted to sell it, and they then gave it to us to market. Brokers. We do get stuff from brokers from time to time. Absolutely, we will work with brokers. And then, of course, hedge funds. And for those of you that don't know this, it's a good piece of information to have. A lot of hedge funds right now are selling their inventory. The guys that were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago were buying like crazy. They're starting to shave off pieces of their portfolio now and offering that out to people like us. And we have been very fortunate to be able to maintain those relationships with those larger buyers who are now sellers and be able to acquire. Some of the stuff you're going to see today, actually I'll point it out when I get there, but some of the stuff you'll see is actually from larger funds. Everything we try to do is, I take that back. Everything we do is off market. We try and always be direct to the seller, but in some cases we will be direct to just their broker. And in many cases, especially with some of the larger funds in many cases will sell through a brokerage house. So although we're getting access to the inventory from the hedge fund, we are marketing that inventory, we're getting it from a brokerage house. So in many cases you have to work through a broker. So that gives you some idea of how we acquire the inventory that we get. Our goal on these broadcasts are really to just sort of streamline the process. We're going to introduce inventory weekly as it becomes available. So if you haven't signed up for our YouTube channel, you might want to consider subscribing to that. Every time one of these comes out, you'll get a notice. You can go just take a look at it at your convenience. That was one of the thought process we had when we did this, was that instead of somebody having to be on a webinar type of thing, this is something you can just listen to at your own convenience. We're going to keep these to 20 minutes. I try to hit this at 20 minutes on the head, so these are not long. Lists will only be made available by request. I mentioned that a little while ago. Most of you know that there's been an epidemic the last 12 months of people. If we mass blast out a tape, and we did lots of that, send out a list of properties, the next thing you know, I've got somebody trying to sell those properties back to the guy that owns them. And so people would rebrand them, reblast them, put them on LinkedIn, wallpaper them on Facebook. It just got to be to a point where our sellers were starting to get a little bit irritated at that, and so we had to change how we do it. We like the YouTube format. We plan on staying with it. The idea is to just sort of try to eliminate wasting people's times. If you get something from us, we want to be able to say it's legitimate, it's deliverable. Ask us whatever questions you want. We can get you answers fairly quickly. We want to be a hub of information about what's going on in the industry. You'll see us from time to time talking about what's just going on in the industry. We'll be doing some of that. And to provide a visual, not only for inventory, but also for protocol. A lot of people don't know this, but in many cases, the protocol can be every bit as important as the inventory itself. If you don't, and you know this if you've worked through a chain of brokers, right? You get a list and you make an offer, and then you wonder why you haven't gotten a reply. And you go days or weeks and you don't get a reply back in your offer. Well, how come? In many cases, because you didn't know the protocol. And you didn't know the protocol because the broker who gave you the list got it from somebody who got it from somebody who got it from somebody. And as it went down the chain, nobody bothered to describe to anybody what the protocol is. So we're going to take time as well to describe on each one of these lists what the protocol is for each respective seller. Just some current market conditions. Yeah, prices have pretty much stabilized. If you're looking for large portfolios, cash flowing portfolios, performing assets, if you're looking for that type of stock, you need to know those prices have gone up. We used to be able to buy in bulk at 60, 70, 80% of market value depending upon the market that you were in. That sort of inventory has gone away. And I've kept this slide on here now for a couple different podcasts simply because it's really important. If you're looking for stabilized assets, you need to know that those are not going to come deeply discounted at this point in time. You can still get discounts, don't get me wrong. You can still get them for less than market value when you're buying in bulk, but you're just not going to get them like you used to. If you're an owner of a portfolio of 100 homes in Atlanta and they're performing at 15% cash on cash, you don't have the incentive that you had 3 years ago to sell those at a deep discount simply because the replacement costs have gone up. And so that particular type of asset has gone, if there's one thing that's gone up, it's been the stabilized larger portfolios. Now, where can you get good deals at? Well, the best place you can get good deals is buying REOs, is buying inventory that's distressed, that's been foreclosed upon. That's the best place to buy discounted inventory. You can still buy that type of inventory for, depending upon the market, again, 50, 60, 70% of fair market value. You can still get that type of inventory. And there's lots of inventory out there. And as I say to people every week, if you're looking for a particular market, if you contact us and say we're in St. Louis or we're in Bowling Green, Kentucky, if you're in Boise, Idaho, if you tell us the market that you're in, our database has the ability to cross-reference right down to zip codes. If you said, we want these 20 zip codes, we can cut you lists with those 20 zip codes. Maybe a cross between a number of different selling parties, but we can do that for you. So if you tell us what your market is, where you want to have inventory to look at, if you contact us, we can certainly provide you with the specific inventory in your specific footprint. Last point on this, we're going to be having a couple of webinars coming up, and I'm probably going to do it on my one of the podcasts on YouTube as well, but we're going to be talking about St. Louis. St. Louis, by many publications right now, is being called the best market for 2016 to buy investment inventory. We just got some, and I didn't put it on here and I should have, but we just got some inventory in today in St. Louis that had yields of over 20%. Crazy numbers. I mean, we're talking $800-900 rentals for less than $50,000. So really good yields in St. Louis. I didn't put the slide up today, but if you're interested in looking at St. Louis, or you're just looking for property that has ridiculous ROIs, contact us and we can provide some of that inventory to you. Okay, so we're going to start with tape number 801. This is a tape in Birmingham, Alabama. I can tell you that the owner of this tape was actually a buying manager for one of the largest hedge funds in the country. I worked with him for about 3 years. He's now started his own small fund, and he's building portfolios. He's got 25 in Birmingham. These have all been rehabbed in the last 12 months. They've all got tenants. They're all performing. They're all cash flowing. They all have property management. What's unique about, there's a couple things unique about this list. First thing is he's willing to carry paper. So for 20% down, there's no qualifying, there's no points. It's a 9% interest-only loan, amortized over 30 years. The note is due in 5 years. So 20% down on this, it's about a 13.5 cap. Really good cap. If you're looking to finance something, this is a really good buy. Now, here's what's really cool about this list, and I was shocked to hear him say this. But typically, when somebody offers something like this, it's a $1.2 million offering price. So you're talking about, $240,000 down or thereabouts. What surprised me was that he's willing to let you cherry pick this. Now, you got to buy at least 3, so you can pick this from this list 3 at a time. He'll still offer the financing terms on 3 properties, which is really super unusual. So good properties. I know these guys. These guys are kind of corporate-minded in the way they see the market and the way they, they did things pretty much exactly like some of the hedge funds they work with have done. So high-quality rehabs, good tenants, good solid leases, new rehabs. Tape number 801 is 25 performing properties in Birmingham, and the seller will carry paper on this package. I got a number of things in Detroit, and I didn't have time to put everything on here today that we recently got in, but this is actually from a fund, so it's a larger fund. These are discounted, but they'll take less than even these offering prices. These are Section 8 properties. They can be cherry-picked. It's tape number 802. I've got a number of different things in Detroit right now. I've got actually, I'm going to get to a couple of those slides in a minute, but this particular tape here is all Section 8s. You can cherry-pick it. They're priced well. They're willing to take offers. Nothing formal on either one of these first 2, by the way, in terms of protocol. I need an email with an offering price. Once we do that, we'll go to soft LOI and we proceed from there. So nothing formal on these first 2 in terms of protocol. Okay, now I got these in yesterday. There's 66 of them. These are in Michigan, primarily the Detroit area. It's tape number 803. These are the guy is going to lose these to the owner is going to lose these to a tax sale in about 30 days. So he's going to blow these out. He was selling these at about $10,000 a door. He's now offering me at $2,000 a door. I know what he paid for these. He's actually losing a little bit of money on these. These are REOs. They aren't burnouts. They're not lots. These are houses. $2,000 a pop. I've got a bunch of these. I've got 66 on this one list. I've got another guy with about 100 that are very similar to this. If you're looking for Michigan, cherry pickable, stuff you can flip. This is the kind of stuff people buy for $2,000 and sell for $5,000. That's tape number 803. Just say 803. We'll know what you're looking for. We've got 73 properties in California. Now, we had this last week. The protocol on this is very formal. It requires a formal letter of intent and formal proof of funds. That means it's got to be a bank statement of some sort to bid on this. There's properties on here that go all the way up to $2.5 million. So there's some really heavy-duty properties on this particular list. I know they're overpriced. For those of you that saw this last week, we had a bunch of people that rent comps. I was told on the phone by the broker a couple days ago that they recognize they've overpriced them. So they're willing to come down. So you can get this down around market value on these. There is a 6% fee that's non-negotiable. It does go split buyer and seller side. And again, on these, I need a formal proof of funds. I need a formal letter of intent on these. That's tape number 804, and those are in California of all places. Now, we got some nationwide NPNs. Now, these as well can be cherry-picked, and these guys keep dropping their price. So I would just say this. If you're looking for non-performing notes, anywhere in the country, because this is all over the place. I mean, this is literally like all across the country. There's 83 of them. They're scattered everywhere. So if you're looking for non-performing notes, I think you can steal these, because these guys they've dropped their price on me 3 times now in 2 weeks. And that tells me that they're really desperate to get these off their books. So if you're looking for NPNs, these are lower bandwidth. These are not 2, 3, 4, 500. Although there are some in there. I should point that out. There are some $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000 properties in there. But for the most part, it's low bandwidth stuff. But it can be cherry picked, and you can get this stuff pretty cheap compared to what the market values are. Okay, now this is the weekly tape that we get. Most of you know how this works, and we do more business from this particular list than any of the lists we work with. These are all REOs. They're all over the country. Again, if you contact us and ask and tell us where you're buying at, what's your buying footprint, what type of stock you're looking for, we can make you if we sent you this list, you can see here, if you look under state, it's not broken down by each individual state. So if I send this to you And let's say you're looking in Illinois, you're literally going to look through 1,800 properties to find, 50 in Illinois. So as opposed to putting yourself through that, again, if you contact us, we will be able to, customize a list for you, only giving you property that's in your buying footprint. Now, protocol is very important on these. There's an asking price, a cash price on every one of these properties. They always accept less than the cash offer price, but it takes you doing due diligence to get to there. And let me explain that. If you contact me and say, Charlie, we like these 5 in Madison, Illinois, and I would like to see them, I can send you the access codes to those 5 properties. Now, you have to do your own due diligence. So what does that mean? You got to go look at them. You got to check the county recorder's office, see if there's liens. There could be liens on these. Could be water liens, tax liens. Not always. We sell a bunch of these, and they don't always have liens, but some of them will. You make your offer based upon what you see. Now, if you take pictures of these inside, it'll help your case. If you're going to offer less than the cash price, you want to be able to make your case. You want to be able to say, hey, I was in this property. Here's the photographs. It needs this, that, and the other thing. My offer price, you're asking $50,000. I'm going to offer you, $35,000. So you want to be able to, look at the property, do your own due diligence, know what the values of the properties are, and then send over the offer price. Now, from there, nothing's formal from there. Once I get the offer price, I make the offer to the seller. They typically come back with a counter, typically pretty quick, 24 to 48 hours, depending upon how many you offer on. Once we agree on price, we simply go to contract and we move towards close. They can close either by full warranty deed or they can close in-house. They have an in-house attorneys that can do the paperwork. They can do closings in as little as 5 days. They can close by quick claim deed or they can close by full warranty deed. That's up to you. But this is a great tape to pick from. If you let us know what markets you're in, what areas you'd like to see, we can help you out with it. Okay, we've got some tax deeds in Jacksonville. Now, I had these last week, but I left them back up because I found out that the person that gave it to me, the broker that gave it to me, was not accurate in his pricing. If you have not seen this list of tax deeds in Jacksonville, Florida yet, contact me to get the list. They're individually priced. They're not they're $18,000 a door. Some of these are as little as $5,000 a door. Now, they got liens on them. That's the only thing. There's going to be tax liens on these, so you got to bear that in mind when you get the list. But tape number 807 is a list of 69 properties in Jacksonville. These are tax deeds. They can be cherry picked. You got to do your own due diligence, but you can pick up some real steals on these. This is tape number 807. There's some really good buys on that list. Portfolios, we still have the 77 in Atlanta. We do have some people looking to make offers on both those first two, the 63 in Macon, or I should just say southern part of Georgia as well. We still have the Arizona tape. That's a big buy, folks. That's a $52 million tape. That is a solid B-class property list. They're looking for $52 million in that. On these last two, both Vegas and Arizona, they will not even allow me to give out a summary. So if you want to look at those lists, Arizona or Nevada, or Atlanta for that matter, you need to contact us. We can give you the protocol. We can give you the list. You'll probably need to sign. Well, you will need to sign an NDA for Arizona and Nevada. They've requested an NDA be signed, so you'll need to sign an NDA to get that list. But those are solid properties. At the Arizona property is a $900,000 a month cash flow, so it's a big tape. Pretty nice properties, all been rehabbed. Contact us so that you can see the numbers on the list there. 810 is Arizona, 811 is Las Vegas. I left this up here purposely because I've been having we could have sold this property 10 times. I'm not joking. We had this last week. I put it up on Friday on the YouTube channel on Friday. By Saturday morning, I had 5 offers on it. We did sell it. We did get a full price offer on this. And so this one here is sold. Okay, that is our YouTube channel for the week. Again, my name is Charlie Castro. I put Matt's information up here too. Matt's is probably more important to our operation than I am. Matt's the one that customizes the list. So if you put Matt in your email list, if you email him and say, what do you have in your inventory in this particular part of the world, Matt can customize you a tape by going into our database and searching for that particular group of properties for you. So if you contact Matt at matt.castro91@gmail.com, he can give you the criteria, or he can give you the list. You give him the criteria, and we'll send you out a tape. Our next one of these will be put up next week again, obviously. If you're not on our mailing list, let us know. We'd love to get you on there. Again, we'll be having a webinar as well as another YouTube channel. We're going to feature St. Louis. If you're looking at either St. Louis or Kansas City, give us a call, and we'd be glad to send you out what we have. We have a couple of really good contacts in both those markets down there, so we're going to be featuring that over the next couple of weeks. So we look forward to hearing from you. Hope you all have a blessed week. You got all of our contact information. We look forward to hearing from you. Again, that number there I gave today is my cell phone. If you cannot reach me on that cell phone, you can always send me a text, and I'll be sure to get right back to you. So for Phil Folks and for Matt, this is Charlie Castro signing off today. Thanks for being on with us. We'll look forward to talking to you real soon.